About a month ago, I picked up a Super Nintendo fiber optic sign, and I didn't get any footage when Brandon delivered it. So today, I actually have a Game Boy fiber sign that just got delivered, and I'm not going to make that mistake twice. I'm going to unbox it on camera and get a little footage of setting it up. So yeah, let's check this out. Alright, so here it is. It's a Game Boy Nintendo fiber optic sign. It's not perfect, it does have some flaws. Like there's some scratches on the frame, and right here there's a couple scratches by the end. But these old store displays are always beat up. You'll be hard pressed to find one that's dead mint condition. And to be honest, once you're a couple feet away, you don't really notice the flaws anyway. I will have to give it a good wipe down. It's got like some residue spots on it and a few spots. So it could use a good cleaning. And the back also has residue on it. Might be hard to see because it's darker over here, but there's like some tape residue and some scuffs. But you don't see the back once it's up on top of the cabinet anyway, and the back doesn't illuminate. The thing about this Game Boy sign is that they're super rare, so you gotta kind of take what you can get. I just got back from my buddy Matt's house with the power converter that I plan to use for my Game Boy fiber optic sign, and I figured I would plug it in and set it up and show it to you guys.
A few moments later.
Well guys, I plugged it in, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't devastated. There's literally 22 broken fibers in this sign, and the face is knocked loose. All of the angle brackets that hold the face in pretty much were rattling around inside and knocked all the fibers out. So for all of you fiber sign owners who are thinking about having these shipped from overseas, maybe you might want to reconsider. Thankfully, I have a dear friend who's willing to help me repair it, but yeah, there's 4 in the top, 3 in the bottom. There's one over here. There's one down here, one down here, one there, 3 in a row here, one there. There's one down here that doesn't illuminate properly, that's busted. There is one in the B here, one in the B here, one in the Y here. Everything else is illuminating properly, but definitely 22 broken fibers. So I already video chatted my dear friend Matt. We're going to be bringing it over there tomorrow and working on it. If you're watching this video, just know that this is a very real scenario, because it happened to me, and yeah, I feel a little bit crushed right now, not gonna lie. But I got a good friend. We're going to get this thing running properly. Maybe reconsider shipping them though. So the good thing is I looked at the inside. I already put the back on, but most of them that are broken at the face. Like you can actually see them dangling there. You can actually see them dangling. So they're not broken halfway. They'll just need to be drilled out and plugged back in, thankfully. So it should be a pretty easy and smooth repair. But yeah, I'll get some footage of that for you guys. Make a whole video out of it. So we're about to start working on the Game Boy sign. The first thing we did is we marked all of the broken fibers so we know which ones are out. And we're going to start drilling them all out. Most of them just need to be plugged back in and glued into place. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. That's what we're going to do.
This is just a little Dremel drill press thing. And then I have a 0.75 millimeter bit. If you're doing this, choke way up on the bit. Have as little of the bit sticking out as possible because you don't want it wobbling around. Then an IKEA lamp.
He zip tied it here just so that there's no play.
Yeah, just so the cord doesn't fall around. Just make sure everything's really tight and try to mark the top of this. So I was just using like the little lancets like that you'd prick your finger with to try to get a
score.
Yeah, well, to try kind of like center punching it. You know, get a little mark on the center so that hopefully the drill bit won't walk. That's the plan.
All right, time to drill them out, plug them back in. So that first big hole.
Yeah, that's because I wasn't pecking like I should have been. And so some of the material came up and wrapped around the drill bit and then spun at the top and took just a tiny little bit of paint on, or paint off. But that shouldn't be noticeable at all.
But if you look at the one next to it, he did the pecking and that came out perfect.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still going to illuminate properly and it's not going to be noticeable. Once you're a foot away from it, you can't even tell. All right, so we plugged all of the ones back in the racetrack. And before we glued them in place, we just watched it just to make sure that they were all in sequence and illuminating properly. And they look good. So I think we're good there. We're going to glue those in place and move on to some other ones that are busted. So to glue them in place, he's just using like a UV curing glue.
Yeah.
And he's trying to use as little as possible.
Yeah, so this stuff, it's really nice and it cures quickly, but you do not want to put a big glob on there. Just a very, very thin film. If you put a big glob on there, you can damage the fiber.
So some of the letters that were really hard to fix were in unreachable spots way back behind this rat's nest of fibers. So we actually had to take them out of the bank so that we could have a little more reach back there.
Yep. Should be able to get this in left-handed.
And there's these two we're working on right here. This one we already got plugged in, just gotta make sure it's proper. And this is the one he's plugging in right now.
Alright, it's through.
So we just fixed the two in the bottom of the G and the A, and those are illuminating properly. It's coming along really nice. I'm not going to record us drilling out and gluing in every one because it's just kind of a rinse and repeat process.
So I'm just going to cut this fiber quick. This is a little fiber cutter. It's got a little razor blade in there. So there's still some epoxy residue on it. So I want to get past that epoxy residue. I'll just cut it and then you'll have a nice fresh end. See, when they made this thing, see the way that these things are built in here, you see there's this bead of silicone or whatever, and that's basically like a dam. So I think they put all the fibers in, they put this dam around everything, and then they just do an epoxy pour over everything. And then you can see kind of in the corner where it jumped over the dam a little bit.
Kind of hard to pick up on camera, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and so anyway, we just need to make sure, we're drilling the holes really precisely, so we need to make sure that they don't have epoxy on the outside of it, otherwise it's not going to fit through. So
pretty straightforward.
Yep.
And a lot of these didn't have much slack, so we had to cut zip ties and reroute them so that there would be more slack.
Yeah, when they have a real tight bend radius like that, we just need to feed it back through and route it differently, because we have to have a little bit of slack, especially with the glue. With this curing glue, you don't want there to be any side torque on it in those few seconds while it's curing, because that can cause it to bend. It does react with the fiber a little bit, but if you're careful, it can work just fine.
All right, finally finished. Took us almost 7 hours today, but sheesh, every light is illuminating properly. So I got it all set up on top of the cabinet up here, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm really happy with the repair. Everything went smooth. We got pretty lucky. All of the fibers were actually broken right on the other side of the panel, so we didn't have to do any splices halfway. I have a 4-foot Mario statue that's coming soon, so I'll make a video on that as well. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Huge shout out to my good friend Matt for taking almost 7 hours on his day off to help me fix my GameBoy fiber optic sign. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for subscribing, and on to the next.